Good morning. Welcome to Second Parish. I think you all know where you are. I'm Susan Weisenbeck, and this morning we have Ken Reed Brown as our minister. Welcome, Ken. As you can see, and as you know, we're in the middle of our arts festival. We've had a wonderful turnout for the show itself and for a wonderful piano concert last night that Arthur and Gayla put on, a friend of theirs put on. And great turnout for kids events yesterday and hopefully today as well. There are plenty of opportunities to host at the art show if people want to sign up for that. Thank you very much. Does anyone else have an announcement? Robin.
So to just tag on to the art show thing, after it's all said and done at the end of the week, we have to break it down. So put in your minds, please. Breakdown is the 18th of May, 9 a.m. We got to break it all down. It's a lot of heavy lifting, so able-bodied people would be really helpful. Thank you.
What day of the week is that?
Saturday.
Saturday.
At 9 a.m. Yep, May 18th. Yep.
Are there any other announcements? I have one. The UU Fellowship at Linden Ponds is holding a tribute to Sandy Peavy on Tuesday. It's Tuesday, May 7 at 3:15 in the Derby Clubhouse, and people from Second Parish are welcome to join them. There will also be a more formal memorial service for Sandy in June 22nd, which is a Saturday. I think that's it. And if there are no more announcements, then our service will begin.
Good morning. I'm not sure if everyone online could hear you. Good morning. Good morning. Everybody now have heard us all. We begin with these words as our call to worship from the Hindu poet Kalidasa. Look to this day, for it is life, the very life of life. In its brief course lie all the verities and realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of achievement. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow only a vision. But today, well lived, makes yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day. In that spirit, may we sing our first spirited hymn. It's in your green hymn books, number 1018. Come and go with me, 1018. That's the spirit. We got it. Finally. Time for our chalice lighting. Christy and Teddy are our chalice lighters this morning. Thank you so much. And as they light the chalice, coming up, thank you, Teddy, we will say together the Second Parish Covenant, which is printed in your order of worship. Speaking together with love for each other and with respect for each person's search for truth, we unite in the spirit of Jesus for the worship of God and the service of our neighbors. Well, it's time for all ages. Teddy, you can stay up here if you like. And anyone else who's here, a young person or anyone else, is welcome to come. You did a great job, Teddy. Oh, good morning. Oh, there are more of you than I thought there were. That's great. Good to see y'all. How are you this morning? How's everybody? Yeah? Oh, tired? Yeah. Why are you so tired?
I don't think I got enough sleep last night, Reverend Ken.
You know, I have nights like that too. I'm tired. But sometimes you still got to do what you got to do.
That's right. That's right. And here I am.
Well, it's great to see you all. And you all kind of nodded your head, I'm good, I'm good. But sometimes we're not so good. Anyway, raise your hand if you've ever been sad. Yeah, I think that's unanimous vote. Or unhappy for some reason. Yeah. Or raise your hand if you had a day when things weren't going so well. Yeah, so, and maybe when I said, how is everybody, maybe everybody said, oh, I'm good, but maybe some of you aren't. And then we sometimes need a little bit of help. What kinds of things, what, what do you like to have happen, or what helps you when you're feeling sad? Raise your hand if you got somebody. Yeah, Teddy, what?
A hug.
A hug. I love that. Yeah, a hug. Anything else? Raise your hand if you got something else. A hug that covers a lot of bases. Yeah. Yes.
A talk with a friend.
A talk with a friend. You guys are writing my sermon. This is great.
Irish step.
Irish step. Oh, that's so cool. I can't do that, but that's great. You Irish step dance? Your friend taught you. Great. So there are a lot of things. And there's a song that some of you may know that is a sort of prayer. And a prayer I like to think of as a yearning of the heart, what we really need when we're sad or down. And that's a prayer. And sometimes say we're praying to God, or love, which is, some say, the other name for God. And there's a song called Kumbaya. Raise your hand if you know the song Kumbaya. Anybody? A lot of you do. Does anyone know what the word Kumbaya means? What do you think?
I think it means guitar.
Means guitar. Yeah, Kumbaya. That's a great guy. I love that. Kumbaya. It sounds like guitar. Music can do that. What it also means is come by here. It's an old language called Gula. It's from people, African Americans, who lived a long time ago and still live along the water in South Carolina and Georgia, the Low Country. And they had a dialect, which is a version of a language. It mixed African languages with English. And in their dialect, Kumbaya meant come by here. So the song is Come Kumbaya, my Lord. So it's a prayer to God, however we understand God. Kumbaya. And so someone's crying, Kumbaya. And it's a beautiful song. And I'll bet a lot of you know it. Certainly you all know it. And it's an old-fashioned banjo, which is appropriate. And we're going to sing a little bit of Kumbaya. Got to warm up because the adults are going to sing it later also. So it goes like this. If you know it, just sing along. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. I sing that again. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. You know that? Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. Now that time I didn't hear a lot of other people singing, but now you can sing because you know it. Ready? Everybody. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. Now, it's one of these songs you can sing as many verses as you want. We're not going to sing them all this morning because they go on and on and on. Someone's crying or someone's happy. It's nice to have company when you're happy. Or someone's praying. So we'll finish because it is a prayer. We'll sing, someone's praying, my Lord. Let's hear it. Someone's praying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Can't hear you. Someone's praying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Someone's praying, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, kumbaya. Well, thank you for singing. So whenever you're feeling lonely or sad, you could sing that song and just wish for whatever kind of help you want. Maybe a hug or a little dancing or just the company of somebody in your family or a friend. Kumbaya. Or God, however you think of God and love. Well, with that, we're going to sing again. We're going to sing you out. Mark, let's sing them out. Our responsive reading this morning is in our hymn books. At the back of our gray hymn book, it's number 461, and Susan is going to help with the responses so everyone at home who may not have a hymn book can also hear. I have to find it too. This by Reinhold Niebuhr, number 461, We Must Be Saved. Nothing worth doing is completed in our lifetime.
Therefore, we must be saved by hope.
Nothing true or beautiful or good makes complete sense in any immediate context of history.
Therefore, we are saved by faith.
Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone.
Therefore, we are saved by love.
No virtuous act is quite as virtuous from the standpoint of our friend or foe as from our own.
Therefore, we are saved by the final form of love, which is forgiveness.
Amen to that. During our solo, we're invited, as you pretty much all know, to write if we're so moved, a joy or a sorrow or a concern on the cards you'll find in your pew. The ushers will later collect them, and we will share our thoughts. I ask the ushers to retrieve any cards. Well, the art show, the festival is clearly a big deal. Two of our joys have to do with that. Joy, the art show, is underway with a live piano concert last night. Thanks to everyone who has helped make these events happen. And sorrow that 5 years ago today, my 32-year-old fiancée passed away. Treat today like a gift. Always share that in our hearts. Joys and sorrows so often interwoven in our lives. They don't come evenly spaced necessarily. The joys help in the midst of sorrow. And this, what a joy to see everyone's contribution towards making the Arts Festival an event of love, beauty, and music for the entire community. And a joy to have my mother-in-law visiting with us from Sweden. We only get to see her twice a year, and it's always a joy to see the delight she takes in being with her grandchildren. I think sometimes mother-in-laws have gotten a bad rap in our culture. I loved my mother-in-law, and that's a beautiful thing to take that joy. We hold in our hearts, too, any joys or sorrows or concerns that have been unexpressed, yet we know may well be deeply felt among us this day. And we sing together, remaining seated, the Spirit of Life. And we join hearts and minds together in a spirit of prayer and meditation. Spirit of life and love, come unto us. Come unto us as we settle into these quiet moments that we share. As we settle into fuller presence here and now. Come unto us as we allow our breathing to slow, allow our thoughts to slow just a little from the rush of our days. May we slow. Spirit of life and of love, come unto us. And in the quiet of these shared moments, may we notice the yearnings of our hearts, the prayers rising in our hearts. Prayers for dear ones in our lives. Prayers for health and well-being for those dear ones and for ourselves. And for all beings. Yearnings, prayers for peace in the many troubled and warring parts of this world that we share. Troubled parts of our nation, troubled parts in the Middle East and Africa and elsewhere. Prayers that the hungry may be fed, the homeless sheltered, the unjustly imprisoned freed. Prayers that we might have the strength to do our part to help and heal in whatever ways we can in our lives, in this world. Prayers for the strength that we need to meet the challenges of our lives each day, to reach out for help when we need help, and to reach out a hand to help another. Now may we enter the silence led by the bell. we continue our prayers by saying together this morning's prayer, the 23rd Psalm, printed in your order of worship. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Now, with whatever measure of generosity is ours to give, to share, in order to ensure the continued thriving of this beautiful Second Parish community, our offering will be given and with gratitude received. With gratitude, may we sing our doxology, standing at the table. A reading this morning comes from the poet, essayist, and activist Wendell Berry, the piece of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the green heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Here ends the reading. You know, for years I read that and didn't think much about this phrase, the day-blind stars. What a clever and interesting way of, the stars are out there, but they're day-blind, unless you have an eclipse, of course. They're always there, the day-blind stars waiting with their light. The light is always there. He began, as we heard, when despair for the world grows in me and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be. Well, what do you do when despair for the world grows in you? We heard some responses from the children about their sadness. Wendell Berry's poem echoes, seems to me, maybe you've already heard this, the 23rd Psalm, the opening especially of the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. What beautiful imagery. Whatever your faith or theology, lead me beyond the still, beside the still waters. We lie down in green pastures. All this suggests to me what at least some of us do, maybe all of us at one time or another, do when despair in the world grows. Despair for the world grows. We may take Wendell Berry's practice and those lines from the 23rd Psalm quite literally, knowing that immersing ourselves in nature's beauty and abundance will heal and help us. We might drive over to a park, to a woodland, or down to the beach, or we might just look out the window, whether a gray day or a cloudy day, and just take a pause, enjoy the beauty. Maybe open the window, if the weather's good enough, and hear the bird song. All of which reminds us, as we know it will, experientially, that we're not separate from all that beauty and abundance. We're part of this interwoven, interdependent web of life, as we call it. We're not alone. In that regard, whatever else, we're not alone. We're held by this web of life, which might, as we re-experience nature, immerse ourselves, might elicit a deep sigh. Right? Earlier we sang Kumbaya with the children. Reminded the children, or told them, reminded you, probably some of you knew, that the word Kumbaya simply means come by here in the Gula dialect. A deeply heartfelt prayer of invitation. Kumbaya, my Lord. Come by here, God. Be with me. Now, this may or may not be our spiritual language, but we surely have our times of yearning, times of aloneness, when we yearn for companionship of some sort, maybe filled with despair for the world and our lives and our children, if we have children, their lives, or grandchildren, nieces, nephews, just the children we see here, whether or not they're ours. They're all ours to some degree. We worry for them. There are times when we desperately need some companionship, a hug, as one of the kids put it. Berry, in the opening lines of the psalm, name the companionship of nature. It's always there. Walk outside, look outside. The psalm goes on, naming in direct address the companionship of God. These familiar lines, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. This is the Psalm's answer to the call of kumbaya from the heart, perhaps a call of worry or fear or despair. Now if you go online, you'll see there's no one's entirely sure about the origins of kumbaya, but the most likely origin is, as I described it to the children, from this African-American Gula community in the low country of South Carolina and Georgia, where kumbaya means come by here. Now, the song predates the civil rights movement, but it became one of the anthems of the civil rights movement as people marched, as they gathered. Then it became one of the anthems, one of the songs of the anti-war movement during the Vietnam War. Kumbaya eventually, though, became watered down in spirit. Oh, they want to just have a kumbaya moment. Just as if it's something trivial to come together and compromise. Someone wrote recently that a song about peace and compassion was suddenly being used as a sarcastic response. So-and-so wants us all to sing kumbaya and pretend to get along. Rather, this writer goes on, rather than kumbaya representing strength and power in togetherness and harmony, as it once did, the word has come to reflect weakness and wimpiness. It indeed was not always so. A number of years ago, I heard an interview on the radio, NPR, with one of the black leaders of the civil rights movement. I wish I'd written down who it was, because I cannot for the life of me remember, and I may not have the story he told exactly right, but I think I have the essence of it. He recounted a moment during the Freedom Summer of 1964. Some of you may remember this or know it from your history. The Freedom Summer, when black Southerners were joined by Northern volunteers, often young people from their colleges or wherever, to register voters in Mississippi. Now, as they were doing their training, I forget just where, but as they were doing their training, they learned of the murder of 3 civil rights workers. Some of you will remember their names. James Chaney, a black Mississippian, and 2 white Northerners, Michael Schwerner and Andrew Goodman. The volunteers realized suddenly, if they hadn't thought about it before, just how dangerous this work was, could be, would be. So they put aside the program of training and they gathered in small groups, as we do, And part of the reason for gathering was to discern whether they wanted to continue. And they were told, no shame if you want to go home. This is dangerous work, but you need to have your whole heart in it. And if you don't feel you can do it, that's all right. So they gathered in these groups. And then as this civil rights leader recounted the story, at some point, they all started singing Kumbaya. I mean, really singing it with spirit from the heart. This was no moment of weakness or wimpiness. In this time of need, as this black civil rights leader recounted it, it was a moment of deep solidarity in heartfelt shared prayer. Kumbaya, kumbaya, come by here, my Lord. This human yearning for companionship of the most dependable and deepest kind, a yearning from the depths of our hearts. Now, as for me, I don't know that I've ever faced that kind of danger or worry, but we all have our moments, and I've had mine of challenge and worry and fear. And I found over the years a number of forms of companionship that have helped me. The children named some overlap with mine. And I'll bet you can name some of your own. Nature, as we've already said, for me, a run in the woods or just looking out the window, as I said, or listening to the bird song on these spring mornings. Nature, come by here. Family, above all, family. Think of the love of my parents growing up, never wavering. My wife, Susan, in the midst of whatever is going on in my life or hers and ours. Our children, as they have grown and offered their love to us, their support. Unerring support and love, whatever's going on. Family, love, come by here. A good talk with a friend or a colleague, what we sometimes call our chosen family, particularly if our own family has not offered that kind of love and support. A friend can be that person, or a colleague in the midst of some challenge or crisis. Friend, come by here. Or working with others on a common cause for justice or peace, ecological sanity. I think of marching in the 1960s against the Vietnam War movement or for justice. These days, the climate crisis calls for a lot of students and others. The war in the Middle East has called from one direction or another to work together. I come away, for example, from an online call with my Elders Climate Action newsletter team, feeling more hope than perhaps I'd felt at the beginning of that call, knowing I'm part of a team and that we together are part of a really large team of people, organizations around the world working together to meet the challenge. So suddenly, not blind optimism, but certainly some hope and this realization that we're together in this, doing what we can. Colleagues in the quest for justice, peace, or ecological sanity, come by here. Or simply seeing a news story. I don't know about you. If I see a news story about an activist or a politician or a scientist saying or doing the right thing to meet the moment, that inspires me as well. That is a kind of companionship at a distance. Politicians, scientists, activists, come by here. Or reading a wisdom text or a poem, like this morning's readings. Every morning I read, I don't miss too many mornings, I read at least a little passage of something might be from ancient Hindu writings or Buddhist, or parable from the Gospels, might be a poem. Something that reminds me I'm not alone over the course of centuries. I'm not alone. Come by here, sages of the ages and poets, Wendell Berry, Mary Oliver, Naomi Shihab Nye, Walt Whitman, Emily Dickinson. Come by here, remind me of who I am, who we are together, who we can be. And come by here, values. Remind myself, remind ourselves of the values we hold and strive our best to live by: honesty, integrity, kindness, justice, generosity. Come by here, values. Don't let me forget you. Be my companions. One additional form of companionship for which we yearn, whether we almost realize it or not, I would say. The writer, psychologist, and former Trappist monk, he worked with Thomas Merton. Some of you are familiar with Merton's writings years ago. James Finley. He names that many of us suffer from what he calls depth deprivation. We live on the surfaces of our devices, of our lives. We suffer from depth deprivation. And he suggests that we set aside time every day, might be just a few minutes, for what he calls a daily rendezvous with ourselves. A little time to stop, to sit, to prepare ourselves, he says, to be ready for whatever moments of epiphany or awakening or presence might come upon us, because they do, right? Suddenly something catches our attention and we're awake and in the moment. If we prepare yourself for those with this daily rendezvous. Come by here, awakenings to our true self. Come by here, epiphanies, presence, wonder, as a companion, too. So navigating these times, our personal times of challenge or grief or whatever it might be, times that we share, climate crisis, wars, protests, racism, economic inequities, navigating these times, my simple message is that we can't and need not, in fact, do not, even if it feels that way, need to navigate alone. We can ask for companionship. Ask ourselves, ask others. Come by here, Lord, God, spouse, friend, colleague, values, love, wisdom of the ages and sages, nature, the beauty of tree and flower. Come by here, our truest and deepest selves. And so may we note this. Might it be that all these apparently different, and they are different, come by here companions are manifestations of one reality, the one reality called by many names in many traditions, a source of life and love this larger reality in which we live and move and have our being. All these forms, nature, poetry, and so on, each other are manifestations of this one source of life and love. So kumbaya, when we sing it or say it, come by here, we can translate Lord however we like. God, love, my friend, my guitar, as Teddy said. Come by here. Kumbaya, Lord. Reminds me of the story of a fellow of deep faith who was standing on the roof as floodwaters rose around him, and he didn't do the sensible thing, as many are having to do these days, as we know. He prayed over and over. That's okay. That's beautiful. He prayed deeply from his faith for God to save him. Well, then a rowboat came along. Come on, hop in. He said, that's okay. God will save me. Then a helicopter lowered a ladder. That's all right. Waved him away. God will save me. Well, the floodwaters rose, and he finds himself at St. Peter's Gate with a complaint to register with St. Peter that he, a man of such deep faith, had prayed, and God did not save him. Here he is at St. Peter's Gate, and St. Peter says, well, we sent you a rowboat, and we sent you a helicopter. Most people get this, but he didn't. Yes, God, however we choose to name the source of our lives and love, appears in many forms. When we pray kumbaya, all we need to do is notice and accept the gift. And then perhaps we're able to turn to whatever life is calling us to do with renewed strength. And to do that next thing, the hug for a friend, kind word, email to a politician, or the next letter to the, whatever may be our part in this vast family of humanity, of life, is ours to do, however modest. We each have a part to play, for we each are also manifestations of the one source of life and love. We are companions to others, as they are to us, in this tapestry of life and love as we navigate together these times and any times, never alone. So may it always be. Blessed be. We're going to sing again, Kumbaya. It's in your hymn book, number 401. You may or may not feel you need the hymn book. I'll announce each verse as we go along, and Mark and I are going to try to accompany this together. Rise in body or spirit, whenever you're ready, Mark. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya, oh Lord. Someone's singing. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh, Kumbaya. Someone's laughing. Someone's laughing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's laughing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's laughing, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's weeping. Someone's weeping, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's weeping, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's weeping, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh, Lord. Someone's praying. Someone's praying, Lord, Kumbaya. Please be seated. Kumbaya. May we be among those who come by here when a neighbor calls and when we see the need. May we accept the companionship of a neighbor or friend, or the birds singing when we are in need. May we know all these as manifestations of the one life we share, the one love we share. Blessings. And so may we turn and make of our lives a blessing to life, to one another, a blessing. Amen. So may it always be.